compliment. For that, I thank you.
What is happening now? They are hopeless and hungry.
Now it's time for us to stand up for God or we'll fall to nothing.
It's time now for Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Listening to the general public, what the public is saying.
And good afternoon, Radio Cayman Nation, and a happy Monday. Thank you for tuning into your station of the nation, Radio Cayman. I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Big shout out of appreciation to Miss Kathy Miller for hosting Talk Today last week. And we do have a full lineup today, and I'll be sitting down with the team from Cayman Enterprise City. As always, we do welcome your stories, feedback, and questions, and invite you to join the conversation. However, given our jam-packed lineup today, we do ask that any calls are kept very brief. Simply dial 1-800-534-8255. That's 1-800-534-TALK or 949-8037. And WhatsApp us at 925-3261. Be back with more Talk Today following this very brief disclaimer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Live Communication.
Let your voice be heard.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're only now tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And we do have a full lineup today. And while we always welcome your calls and comments, we do ask that you keep any calls very brief. Our numbers again are 1-800-534-8255, 949-8037, or you can WhatsApp us at 925-3261. And again, we are pleased to have in studio the team from Cayman Enterprise City, Mr. Charlie Kirkconnell, Miss Bianca Mora, and Miss Caitlin Elphinstone. Welcome to Talk Today.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So this is part of our regular series with Cayman Enterprise City, and it's always great to see the evolution of how things have progressed and grown and changed and morphed a little bit with Cayman Enterprise City. Give us a bit of rundown. What's new in November? 2020 has been a kind of a wild roller coaster year for many, and I'm sure you're no different in your boat.
Yeah. What's new feels like it's been more of the same, which is great for us and we think for our project and for the growth of knowledge and technology focused businesses setting up here in Cayman. We did have a bit of a slowdown during COVID, as I'm sure you can imagine, but demand has been very, very strong. Building and been very, very strong since things started to open up a little bit more. What's new being more of the same. The future remains very, very bright, and I'd say, in fact, it seems as though some of the people that we'd been speaking to through sometimes over a period of months and years seem even more determined now to set their business up in Cayman than ever before.
Is there a reason why the demand now is a little greater than it was previously?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the way that Cayman has addressed the virus. Where people are potentially, or perhaps they're in a jurisdiction that has not done as well, and they don't have the freedom to move about, or like we have here, and what was one of the main attractions for new businesses setting up here, being that Cayman is a great place to live and work, looks even better to some people than it did before.
Sure.
So I think that has a lot to do with it.
Great. Are we going to see those businesses opening up in the near future? Or is this something for 2021 or something we're going to see for this?
No, I mean it's happening now.
That's great.
The biggest obstacle for new businesses is that to the extent that they are bringing people to the island,
Of course.
getting them here is the issue. But many of our clients have come through the quarantine period, and are they're not everyone right now is eager or even willing to go through the quarantine period,
Of course.
but many of them are. And as we see things hopefully start to open up a little bit more, I think we'll see even more more and more people. They'll either decide that this is how it's going to be. We'll do the quarantine, or maybe if we see a little bit of a kind of a little bit more of a, I guess, careful how I say what I say, a little bit of a kind of a not relaxing, but a little bit more of efficiency in the quarantine process, then I think we'll see even more of those people start arriving.
That's great. It is great to see that the growth in business because of how Cayman has actually managed the pandemic over the past several months and throughout the past, really most of this year. With regards to the diversity of businesses within Cayman Enterprise City, throughout the shows that we've done in the past, we've had cryptocurrency businesses on the show. We've had members of the coding groups within the show and your internship programs. Of the new firms coming in, are we seeing a diversity of industries within the tech umbrella?
Yeah, largely the same as before.
Okay.
So, a lot of, media, digital marketing companies, a lot of software development companies, and, including blockchain development companies, some businesses in the, research and development on natural sciences, that's their focus. So we're seeing a very, very good mix of new businesses, and it's similar to what was happening before COVID as well.
That's great. I mean, it's great to see the industries itself picking up, but that you're making that kind of stamp in the community and globally that you are the place to be. Way to go!
And thank you very much.
And I'm looking at the list here. It seems you've recently won a series of awards. Walk us through that one. Sure.
We're very proud to have been recognized by our project being number 5. We were number 5 globally, number 1 in the Americas. Foreign direct intelligence?
Foreign direct investment.
Foreign direct
magazine,
investment.
Which is a division of the Financial Times. So,
wow.
Yeah.
And this is number 1 in the Americas and number 5 globally.
Yeah, we've applied a few times before. We did get number 1 in the Americas 2 years ago. So this is great to be recognized and make that top 10 list globally of free zones around the world.
Yeah, I will distinguish. That was number 1 in the SME category. This time we were recognized as number 1 in the Americas overall, also in the SME category, but number 1 overall, and number 5 globally, which put us on the list with the leading free zones around the world, including those located in the UAE, the Americas, and in China.
It's a pretty impressive list. Now, what does SME stand for?
Small to medium-sized enterprises.
Okay.
So, medium-sized businesses.
Sure. And then, so as far as that list, that number 1 list in the Americas and the number 5, when we say the free trade zones, for our listeners at home, what does that mean to them?
Yeah, so all over the world, countries have developed these free zones as a way to attract foreign direct investment. And why that's so important is that the more foreign direct investment you have, the more it trickles down into the local economy, the more knowledge, in our case at Cayman Enterprise City, the more knowledge-based industries are accessible in the Cayman Islands, and that just gives more opportunities for the next generation, provides more jobs, and is just overall a good thing for countries to do.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Now, you've applied previously, you said you were number 1 in the Americas 2 years ago as well?
For small businesses, for small to medium businesses. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then as far as the criteria they use to make that ranking and to select the top performers. What's involved in that criteria? Is it a jurisdiction base, or is it strictly within CEC?
Yeah, so it's actually quite a long survey that you have to complete with a lot of stats. They ask a lot of questions about what percentage of growth has happened, what kind of programs and initiatives are you doing for your community, how are you developing your physical spaces as well as your community environments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And as far as other free trade zones within the Americas, who's our competition, so to speak, in that realm?
Yeah, there's Costa Rica. It's in there. It's been a big competitor. Who else? Santiago, Chile was one.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of these regions that are really building out lots of free ports and for shipping and commodities and derivatives.
Okay.
But ours is a bit of a unique project that it's definitely knowledge-based, and I think that's a good thing for Cayman to have.
Yeah. That is great.
Yeah. Well, to follow up on that point, I mean, one of the important things about what we're doing is that, on the heels of the global financial crisis of 2008, the government was seeking ways to, create that proverbial third pillar for the economy, and wasn't looking, obviously, for something that was going to compete with things that we've had success with in the past. So that's the reason for our projects focused on knowledge and technology-focused businesses. These businesses are the types of businesses that have traditionally not set up in Cayman, or at least not set up a genuine physical presence in Cayman. And so our project is unique in many ways, but by design, for the purpose of not cannibalizing the local economy in any way, but creating something that complements the jurisdiction's success. And one thing that I will say, I think everyone in Cayman recognizes that Cayman, when it does something, it does it very well. And we are very proud to now, with this global recognition, to have been recognized as being, one of the things that Cayman does very, very well. We're a global leader in tourism and financial services, and now having been recognized as one of the global leaders in, free zone projects. We're proud to stand, side by side with the best that Cayman has to offer.
Truly an impressive statement. As far as the Caribbean region goes, is there any other region within the Caribbean that's operating these types of free trade zones that we would fall into the same kind of competition, or are we really the leader in the Caribbean for this?
Well,
I mean, provider in the Caribbean.
There are other jurisdictions in the Caribbean doing something similar.
Okay.
Some of them are not necessarily like the formerly a free zone, but for example, Jamaica has a special economic zone. But all of the, it seems like, I wouldn't say all, but many of the jurisdictions in the Caribbean, they have some sort of program. But we definitely consider ourselves, and I think our awards, bear it out, that we are the leader in what we do.
Excellent. On that note, let's go to our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll be hearing more about what's going on at Cayman Enterprise City. Back.
Over 60 years ago, we started as an insurance company to put people first. Today, with all of the challenges our world is facing, that mission has never been more important. Britcay is now CG Britcay. And though our name has changed, our purpose hasn't. We are still the same people-first company we've always been. And we're here for you, stronger than ever. CG Britcay.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Kirk Freeport's Black Friday weekend sale is bigger than ever, with up to 70% off an incredible selection of watches, jewelry, and accessories. Even better, Kirk Freeport is giving extended access to the sale all day Thursday through Monday. Find the sale at Bayshore Mall and Cardinal Avenue, or enjoy late night shopping at the Strand until 9 p.m. Get unbeatable discounts from brands including Roberto Coin, Swarovski, Bulgari, Masica, Doves, Ippolita, Lagos, Fossil, and many more. Plus, take an additional 10% off all non-branded sale merchandise. It's Black Friday all weekend at Kirk Freeport. Visit kirkfreeport.com for full details.
More than 100 studies on parent-child relationships have found that having a loving and nurturing father is just as important for a child's happiness, well-being, social, and academic success as having a loving and nurturing mother. Do not undervalue your significance as a father. Your children, this community, and the future needs you. Reach out to the Family Resource Center for parenting support at 949-0006 or frc@gov.ky. They are here to help.
We give you honor and praise, adoration and glory.
Radio Cable.
Praise time.
Praise him, praise him. Come and let's praise the Lord. Come and let's praise the Lord. Praise him in the morning and in the evening. Oh, let's praise the Lord.
Praise time in the morning.
Praise him, praise him.
Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Radio K-Man, waking you up.
Rock my soul in the blues of my favorite. Rock my soul in the blues of my favorite.
Praise time.
I know he cares. He'll always be there. Oh, yeah. Praise him, praise him, praise him.
Praise time.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it. Shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and very pleased to have in studio members from the Cayman Enterprise City team, Mr. Charlie Kirkconnell, Miss Bianca Mora, and Miss Caitlin Elphinstone. Welcome again to Talk Today. Now, before the break, we were briefly discussing some of the recent developments within Cayman Enterprise City with regards to 2020 and the constant growth that Enterprise City has seen, and also the recent awards that Cayman Enterprise City garnished globally and within the Americas. So congratulations again with that. Caitlin, with regards to the current ongoing the Cayman Enterprise City, we briefly discussed an upcoming competition that you have. Walk us through what's going on with this.
Yeah, so basically to help connect our public with some of the talent that's coming through Cayman Enterprise City, we thought of doing a business competition. So it's a business design competition where individuals can compete for the best business idea, I guess, of the year. So we've got Community Impact Award, we've got Creativity Award, and a Project of the Year. But basically we want people, even if they're working or not, maybe they have an idea that they've always wanted to launch and they just need that extra support or that extra, resources and environment. Or maybe they've got like a side hustle idea that, they're just not quite sure how to launch it. So the program lasts 3 months where you'll be connected with specialists within your sector. The deadline to apply is the 31st of January. And top 10 projects will enter through the competition and take part in a design sprint and special workshops and all these really cool things. So at the end of the sprint, they'll have a pitch deck and a 5-minute 5 minutes to kind of pitch their business idea and really like streamline it and polish it off so that it's ready to kind of launch. And hopefully some of these projects will indeed get off the ground.
That's very impressive. So let's say, just for layman's terms for our listeners, you have a cooking side hustle. You like to bake, as it is. A lot of bakers came out of COVID lockdown, right? Let's be very blunt on this. A lot of people learn how to bake during COVID. Cookies have been, we've asked this question quite often, and cookies were the number one things that people learn how to make during COVID. So let's say they develop this cookie side hustle. What happens next?
So then they can, we'll have an online form that they can register through.
Okay.
And then we'll take all of the applications, and our judging panel will take a look at all the applications and select the top 10 to make it through the design sprint.
Okay.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of projects enter. I'm excited to see, Cayman is so creative, and everybody living here has such wonderful ideas that I think it'll be interesting to see how this all evolves.
That is pretty cool. So what actually takes place within the design sprint? Like, what are the criteria what's the steps that are going to happen in that 3-month process?
So basically, we're going to use the design sprint theory and design sprint thinking to kind of take those projects and really scrutinize them and examine them and see how we can improve them and make them better. So there's 5 different stages in a typical design sprint. So you've got the empathize stage. How do you empathize with your audiences? The define stage. How do you define your project? Your ideate stage. So kind of pulling it through the washing machine, making sure you got all the kinks out. The prototyping stage where you actually build, and then the testing stage where you test. So you take maybe a small sample size of audience and you run your idea through and make sure that it's actually practical.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now that prototype stage sounds like a quite intensive one. So let's say your idea was to build next best video game. What would happen at that prototype stage?
Yeah, so then we've got a session on a Saturday afternoon where everybody can come in the room with some experts and really help. So like, how can we prototype this quick and easy without spending a lot of money? In fact, there's lots of platforms that you don't need to spend any money on, and just really get basic prototype so you can test it. So it doesn't have to be the final finished piece during that stage, but basically it will all depend on each of the projects that come through. And we have lots of volunteers already signed up who are ready to project advise, to get involved. And we're excited to see what happens.
That actually leads to my next question with the advisors. Where are the advisors and those mentors, so to speak, coming from?
Yeah, across Cayman. I mean, within the zone and outside of the zone, anyone who, there's tons of projects that have launched from the Cayman Islands, and there's tons of experience here. So to be able to pick those brains of those individuals who have gone through the headaches of launching their own business or launching their own product.
Headache is a great word that you use there. They can be.
Yeah. And so the idea is really to foster that environment of entrepreneurship, really create that community of support network. And, we're not competing against each other. We want to work together to be able to build these really cool projects and ideas. And hopefully, some of them will be quite lucrative and support individuals in the community. Yeah.
And with regards to you said the 10 company ideas will go through to this stage. Mm-hmm. Is there any criteria that those companies have to follow in, any industry specific that they have to
Not at the moment. Okay. I think once we launch the event over the next couple of weeks, there'll be a form online so you can kind of see the questions that we're asking individuals to fill out and what you would be required to submit your idea. So more details to follow.
Exactly. Fair enough. I mean, it's a great little, it's that business mentorship stage, right? So many people have ideas, and it's just getting that little kick forward and push forward.
Yeah, it's a really good extension from some of the projects that Bianca's working on, really connecting that talent, fostering that, environment of innovation, and just really reaching out to the community to get involved.
That's fantastic. And then, so last question with regards to the prototype stage, again, for listeners at home, if they're looking to launch their own cryptocurrency, theoretically, just throwing out whatever idea out there that could be far-fetched, because you're going to get some far-fetched ideas.
Oh yeah,
that's
totally.
What you're going to get.
That's what we want.
You're going to get the cookie baking enterprise, and you're going to get the cryptocurrency enterprise.
Definitely.
You're going to get that diversity.
Yeah.
If it was something as logistically intensive as launching a cryptocurrency, for example, what would theoretically happen at that prototype stage for the more intensive
Yeah, I mean, it
projects?
would depend on the project, but there's lots of platforms that you can just plug in, like the code's already built, and you just boop, 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 and then you can test it out. I have some of them written down, like Bubble.io and Marvel app, so you don't need to know code. You can just tap into those free online resources and kind of put something together. Might need a few pieces of duct tape, but just so that
electronic duct tape,
just so that you're thinking through your idea.
Sure.
And then also meeting with the experts to really find out how practical it is. Like, can you do it with a team of 10 people, or can you do it with, you're going to need a team of 20 people? You know, kind of figuring out all of those logistics, I guess.
There's a lot that goes into that,
yeah,
without doubt.
Definitely.
Now, this is the first time you're doing this type of competition.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that we're hoping to see happen annually, or to say one-off scenario?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes, and this project can grow and grow, and it might even turn into something, who knows, right? So we're kind of design sprinting with our design sprint, and we're going to find out how it works and how it evolves. But yeah, we're excited to just get it off the ground and go for it.
So before the show, when we were briefly looking over this, I brought up the topic of Shark Tank. As now this, and Mr. Connell, you mentioned this is like the precursor to Shark Tank. This is to get companies to that stage where they can then launch a company and get to that Shark Tank stage.
Yeah, I mean, we're the people that we hope will apply will include people who, some of them who don't have a very well formed idea, but have an idea that they would like to explore how they could turn into reality, something that they could ultimately end up pitching in a Shark Tank type environment. Okay. And the project is about getting people from the very early stages of with a like I said, with a maybe a not very well formed idea, all the way through the process on to where they have something tangible to offer.
That's excellent. And as far as the big one with a lot of new startups is financing is always a question. How do I finance my company? Where do I get the money to actually get my foot off the ground, so to speak? Is conversations going to be taking place within that training, that 5-week sprint?
Definitely, yep. So we have an individual who's going to teach a course on that, like where do you begin with raising capital? Do you crowdsource? Crowd fundraise, or do you go out for individuals or venture capitalists, and all that kind of technical aspects of raising capital will be covered during the program.
That's fantastic. And then last one in this one, because I can only imagine you're going to get a swarm of companies that are going to sign up for this, hoping to be in the top 10 list. If you do not make it into the top 10 for this particular round, is there something for those who still have a company idea to access this wealth of information after this sprint?
Yeah. So we actually have a series of ongoing discussions called Tech Talks. Mm-hmm. And so there's always opportunities to get involved with the community and just come out and talk to people. So there's that, but also, who knows how this will evolve. If this demand is fantastic, like, maybe we'll do another one.
I hope it is. Actually, this is a great, I brought up Junior Achievement earlier before the show. This is like the adult version of Junior Achievement.
Yeah, so
right?
if you've gone through Junior Achievement and you I have this really cool idea that I want to continue with, this is a great network to tap into.
This is where you start.
Yeah.
One thing to add to that is that there's a broad variety of ways to do the design sprints, and we're going to learn as we go, but it can be everything from kind of an open casting call, if you would, if you get, which is what we're doing with the first one, but there are other ways to do them as well, including internal to existing businesses. So let's say someone like Junior Achievement might choose to put some of its projects through this sort of process, and if they wanted to, I'm not suggesting anything here, but
sure.
That's just using that as an example. But should they want to put some of their the individual projects through this sort of process, the design sprint is the kind of thing that we could do one just for them.
Sure.
And so it all depends. As Caitlin said, this is a bit of a trial by fire. We're gonna do one, see how it goes, and we think it's going to go very well. but we're also going to learn a lot of things as we go, and also hopefully find some other opportunities for this sort of mechanism and apply it in as many ways as we can.
That is, I think, just to put my own little personal viewpoint here, this is a fantastic initiative. We have a lot of entrepreneur-minded individuals in Cayman. A lot of people want to get their own small business off the ground, and there's a process to get to that point. And whether you go to the incubator workshops they have on island, or there's so many opportunities, but this is a very comprehensive portfolio you've put together for new companies or new ideas, and so many companies that do have a bit of struggle right now, and they want to get that new venture off the ground. This is such a great starting point. So hats off to you for this one. Very good job. On that note, let's go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will get Bianca involved in this conversation. Back with more Talk Today right after this.
Maintaining a strong mind and body through sports and general healthy living is a good course of action. But what about your spiritual man, your inner man? He has to be awakened, fed, exercised, strengthened, and led according to the will of God. So, have you heard the call? I'm evangelist Brother Joseph Joey Ebanks, and I'm inviting you to worship Wednesday and Thursday nights at 7:30. We are bringing the Word of God to our communities as Jesus commanded. Faith comes by hearing, so come and hear. Bring your own chair or simply park and listen to the Word of God from your vehicle, covering the Cayman Islands with the Word of God, one community at a time.
Have you heard the call? We'll be meeting November 11th and 12th at the Windsor Park Playground.
Do you remember when 2020 was great?
I don't think it was...
2020 vision, not the year.
Right.
Make 2020 great again with Optical Outlook, the new West Bay store now open. With their designer frames and sunglasses, eye health has never looked so good. Call 746-2020 and book your eye exam today at Caymanian Village and now at Jake Scott Plaza in West Bay, offering premier eye care in Cayman for over 30 years. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook.
Don't miss Fat Chance on Radio Cayman every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. starting November 18th until December 23rd, with a repeat of each week's episode airing every Saturday at 6:45 p.m. beginning on November 21st and ending on December 26th. Fat Chance. Fat Chance is a comedy everyone can relate to. Henpeck Dexter is back with his wife Corinne and his mother-in-law who is living with the couple. The universal theme is be careful what you wish for, as you just may get it.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And we are pleased to have in studio again the team from Cayman Enterprise City, Mr. Charlie Kirkconnell, Miss Bianca Mora, and Miss Caitlin Elphinstone. Bianca, we've had you as a silent participant in this conversation thus far. Jump on in here. What's new these days over at Enterprise, or what is next up on the list for Cayman Enterprise City?
Yeah, so we have our Enterprise Cayman Outreach Initiative. And this is a partnership between Cayman Enterprise City and the Cayman Islands government that started back in 2012.
Okay.
And we always have either events, workshops, or new initiatives being born. And mainly the one coming up now is our Summer in the City internship program that's about to start taking applications in the December break. And yeah, it's just constantly been evolving. This year we opened up the mentorship program. Mm-hmm. And we've had some great mentors and mentees partake this year, one being Ryan Watson from Brave Software, took on 3 mentees. And he's just been, it's been 3 months now through the mentorship, being able to connect them with his network back in San Francisco and Silicon Valley, as well as help them develop the soft skills like creating a really good CV, beefing up their LinkedIn. And yeah, it's kind of our new initiative that kicked off in 2020. And as mentioned, there's multiple things that every month are happening. So Yeah, just wanted to talk about it. Make sure if you're not on the mailing list to subscribe so people are the first to know. And that is the Enterprise Cayman mailing list, which you could find at CaymanEnterpriseCity.com.
Okay, and then as far as the Ryan Watson mentorship program and his 3 mentees, were they actually based physically here in Cayman and everything done remotely with him in San Francisco?
No, so he's based here as well.
Okay, so sorry. And as far as his 3 mentees, is that program now wrapped up, or are they still going through that mentorship program?
Nope, they're still going through the mentorship program. It started back in beginning of September.
Okay.
And it is a very flexible program. So it's a bit different from our internship program. That one lasts 2 to 3 months. And then our mentorship program is more flexible. So it's just kind of between the mentee and the mentor to see what their schedule's working like. You could either do it online, so through Zoom calls, or meet up in person like once a week, bi-weekly, just whatever the schedule's working.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then as far as the Summer in the City, did I say that right?
Correct.
So when is the Summer in the City program starting up again?
So applications will be opening up in Christmas break.
Okay.
And then it actually takes place during the summer. So it could be as early as May, and pretty much from May to September, kind of the summer break.
That's when the internship's actually going to take place.
Correct.
So the application process starts in Christmas break?
Yes.
And when is that deadline? Or do you have that information available yet?
So it will be released next month when the deadline is, but it's usually the last couple of years has been around March. Okay. It is quite an application, developing your CV, answering all these survey questions, and then you are placed around April, May time, and then that's when your internship begins.
Okay, and as far as the skills, is it strictly a soft skills internship, or are there more hard applicable skills such as coding and on the other techie, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, so it's amazing because we have so many diverse companies within the special economic zone. So people could either go into digital marketing and learn everything about developing a website, search engine optimization, all that. Or someone could go into artificial intelligence and do machine learning. We have a lot of software programmers out there. So you are kind of put into this work environment, and you are like doing stuff that like I do every day. Like it's not just how do I describe it? It's like
you don't have to read a textbook, I guess.
Yeah.
You kind of go on and you actually work with individuals who are professionals in an array of fields.
I think we can do a whole show. I'm so happy you brought up the artificial intelligence, because it's one of those topics that one scares the life out of me, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, whoa, so fascinating. So I want to touch it. But is artificial? I really want to do a show. I'm putting it out there right now with the artificial intelligence team at CEC.
We can make
we
that
have
happen.
to do a whole show just on that one. So as far as the number of interns that this internship is opened to, one, is it for residents or Caymanians in Cayman? Is it open to Caymanian students outside of Cayman, since some, I'm assuming, can be done digitally or virtually? What are some of the criteria, just so people can plan ahead mentally?
Yeah, so it's for Caymanians 18 to 25.
Okay.
And I mean, 2020 kind of threw some curveballs, so it was always in person, so you're in the office and everything. Yeah. But 2020 we were able to do it all online, so that is something that we will look into. Great. Probably offering, seeing how 2021 goes.
Was there any loss in kind of the educational standard or the internship standard by going to the virtual environment versus the hands-on environment, or was everything pretty much seamless from your perspective?
It was quite seamless. A lot of the companies within the special economic zone, like for example, digital marketing, you don't necessarily have to be in person to get the same experience.
Absolutely.
So it was an easy transition from in person to online.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then as far as like a follow-up with the interns that have come through the program, you mentioned this program started in 2012, this partnership with the Cayman Islands government?
Yes.
As far as over the course of that 8 years now, since this program has launched, have you seen a success rate in the employability of those who have come through the program, or has there been any kind of follow-up on where those individuals are at now in their journeys and in their tech careers, so to speak?
Yeah, absolutely. So actually just 2019 alone, that we had 20 interns placed, and I believe it was 5 of them continued on with a career with the company that they were placed as an internship.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so we have, so as it was 2019 alone, this year we had our marketing intern, Alyssa Ebanks, do a lot of projects with one of our companies, and that project is still right now being worked on. So not only do you get access to like the particular special economic zone that you're interning for, but you also have access to all these global industry professionals. So as you're working within like the community and everything. So that was a great thing that was born. She interned for us, but is now also working with a special economic zone community member to develop another project. So that was
a virtual reality project, which is quite cool.
There we go. That's exactly it. That artificial intelligence, virtual reality. We have to do the show on this.
Yeah,
it's like that teaser. You just keep it going. That's fantastic. So is she working in the marketing side of it? You mentioned.
Yeah. So she worked with us in the marketing because we couldn't quite place her. She studied game design. And then kind of through the networking events and just being in the zone, met another company and now is able, now is able to kind of, she's almost freelancing in a way.
Wow.
And we're working with her. Hopefully she'll set up she'll get her own trade and business license and be able to use virtual reality for architect firms and for special projects where people want to see things in virtual reality, right? Because you can't travel now, so there's lots of opportunities for that, and she's finding it and doing it herself, which is fantastic.
That's
and she's also been approached by yet another of our clients who saw, some of the I guess the PR, the features that we did on Alyssa, and she's been approached by another of our clients prospectively to get involved in a game development project in the new year. So, it just kind of goes to show that, she kind of came in, didn't do something that was directly relevant to her qualifications, what she studied, and but the end that led to another opportunity, and then led to another opportunity. Once she joined the community and kind of put out, kind of became a known entity out there, and somebody saw her skills and learned a little bit about her, and thought, okay, well, let me contact her and see if she can help me with something I'm working on. And I think it's a testament to how something as simple as an internship can grow into opportunity, and sometimes in directions that you perhaps didn't anticipate.
That is such an amazing story. That's exactly how we all hope every internship will go. We know they don't always do that, but that is exactly the route we want internships to go. You come in, you put in your time, you figure out what the industry is, and then the doors open up to the universe at that point. And that's impressive. So she's now doing theoretically game design, designing
architecture, virtual reality and architecture.
Yeah, and start off as an intern doing marketing.
Yeah.
That's quite the journey.
Yeah, and that's just one example too. There's
absolutely,
quite a few others out there, and we can't wait to see what the cohort this year comes out with and what we receive in the applications.
That is fantastic. We unfortunately are out of time in the show. I'm going to put it out there again live on air. We have to do a show on the artificial intelligence and virtual reality because there's so much in that conversation that I think is just untapped globally, and it's just an amazing conversation. It's scary, but it's amazing. So for anybody that has any questions about the internship program or any of the upcoming competition, the business
design competition.
Sorry. How can they get in touch with you at Cayman Enterprise City?
I would go to email at innovate@caymanenterprisecity.com, or also our website, which is www.caymanenterprisecity.com.
That's right. So it's Innovate is INNOVATE at caymanenterprisecity.com.
Correct.
Folks, thank you so much again for coming in. And if we don't get to see you before the end of the year, all the best for the rest of 2020. Get through it. You came this far. Get through 2020. On that note, we're going to go to our 1 p.m. headline news. When we get back, we'll be sitting down with the team from the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association. Back with more Talk Today right after this.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only two species that we have, on Island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm April Cummings. Sariba, the Cayman Islands Real Estate Brokers Association, donates $10,000 to the YMCA of the Cayman Islands. Part of the Home is Where the Heart Is campaign, launched to support those in need in Cayman due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Real Estate Association committed to making a $10,000 donation a month to various charities and organizations through the end of 2020, with brokers and agents casting their vote each month. In international headlines, pharmaceutical company AstraZeneca said today that late-stage trials showed its coronavirus vaccine was up to 90% effective, giving public health officials hope that they might soon have access to a vaccine that is cheaper and easier to distribute than some of its rivals. The results are based on interim analysis of trials in the UK and Brazil of a vaccine developed by Oxford University and manufactured by AstraZeneca. No hospitalizations or severe cases of COVID-19 were reported in those receiving the vaccine. U.S. President-elect Joe Biden is expected to nominate Antony Blinken as Secretary of State. That's according to multiple people familiar with the Biden team's planning. The 58-year-old served as Deputy Secretary of State and Deputy National Security Advisor during the Obama administration and has close ties with Biden. General Motors is recalling about 7 million big pickup trucks and SUVs around the world to replace potentially dangerous Takata airbag inflators. The announcement came today after the U.S. government told the automaker that it had to recall 6 million of the vehicles in the U.S. GM says it will not fight the decision, even though it believes the vehicles are safe. It will cost the company an estimated $1.2 billion, about a third of its net income so far this year. Those are your headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom. I'm April Cummings.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
your voice, your choice, your radio.
The Paramount Carpet pre-Christmas blowout sale is back. Monday, November 23rd through Saturday, November 28th. Save big with assorted remnant tiles, $250 square foot, $100 a pallet. Assorted remnant granite slabs, $300 each. Ceramic tiles as low as 75 cents a square foot. Porcelain tiles as low as 99 cents a square foot. Area rugs, 35% off. Carpets, 25% off. And all other in-house tiles, 20% off. Cash and carry. Visit the Big Blowout Sale at Paramount Carpet, November 23rd till November 28th. Located on 317 North Sound Road, Industrial Park. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 till 5, and Saturday, 7:30 till 2. Call 949-5000.
We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount Carpets.
Find out about all the community happenings from nonprofit, community fundraisers, church events, and more with Radio Cayman's Community Bulletin Board 3 times daily. Don't be the one to miss out on the latest information for events taking place every day on all 3 islands. Radio Cayman's Bulletin Board brought to you by Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, just around the corner, with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours.
And Royal Medical and Wellness Center in Baytown Plaza. Your health deserves nothing less than the royal treatment. Email info@royalmedical.ky or call 769-6230. WhatsApp available at 922-2119.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. We always do welcome your stories, feedback, or questions, and always invite you to join our conversation. However, due to today's jam-packed lineup, we do ask that you keep your calls very brief. The number to call is 1-800-534-8255, 949-8037, or you can always WhatsApp us at 925 3261. And now, very pleased to have in studio President of the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association, Mr. John Bothwell, and by phone, Vice President Ms. Clara Smith. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Talk Today.
Thank you, Ray. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you. And Clara, do we have you on the phone?
Yes, I'm right here. Good afternoon.
She's right here by phone. I love it. Welcome again. And so we're here to talk Cayman Islands Civil Service Association. What's new these days at the association? It's been a wild year, 2020. So how's that worked out for the association?
Just like any other year, there's just always challenges. This year had different ones. So one of the things that we've had to do this year was switch to a bit more electronic communication with people who are trying to be more electronic. So again, thank you for having us on here on Radio Cayman. And so hopefully a lot of our members saw a couple of weeks ago when we hosted a lunch and learn event online on Zoom with the Public Service Pension Board. I mean, we hosted it, they did all the talking because we know people have a lot of interest in their pensions, obviously. In the civil service, we're fortunate enough to have a solid pension plan. But as with anything the size of that operation, there's a lot of details that get complicated quickly. So we had them come in and talk with members and other civil servants about the details of the plans, how everything works, the different permutations of it, that kind of thing. So that was quite well attended. We were very happy to see people coming out for that and getting their questions answered directly from the people who know. Because while the association, we're always happy to ask questions on behalf of our members, be that go-between. For a lot of this stuff, it's sometimes easiest if we can get the people talking directly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Clara, anything you want to add on that one with the Lunch and Learn series?
I just wanted to say how important it was for each individual civil servant to learn as much as possible with regards to their own pensions. And workshops like these are incredibly useful when you get, when you're planning, when you're future planning for yourself. It's important for you to understand how your pension works and hopefully be able to calculate on your own, kind of what you should or shouldn't be getting. And then, of course, the beautiful thing is that pensions are always there and you can always touch base with them and get that information directly from them. And every civil servant should. Just to be able to plan for their futures, they should know as much as possible about the current pensions situation, the legislation, and where their personal pensions are at.
Yeah, just to pick up what Clara says, absolutely true. I mean, one of the things that the pensions people always say at the start, almost at the start of any meeting with them, is going to be, pensions isn't going to cover everything you need. And I know that's always one of the questions people have, and so it's better to ask that from as early as you can in your working career. How much is the pension likely to cover? And it's not going to be everything. And so I know I said at the start we have a good pensions plan, and we do. That's just a structural, inherent limitation of it. It's not going to cover everything everybody's going to want in their retirement. People do have to look out for themselves and their families. Talk to the PSPB and find out, see what can I be expecting on averages, and then look at your lifestyle and the lifestyle you want to have when you retire, and say, what else do I need to do? And it's always a challenging conversation for people to have. The classic, young civil servants just starting out at the civil service at a Civil Service Association. Everything is going good. You're not looking that far ahead in life. No one wants to.
No.
But as Clara was saying about the beauty of the pensions, is it builds up. You have to start the investing as early as you can, and not in the pension, obviously, in other things. And then, of course, as members get closer to retirement, the questions start becoming much more particular about how things really calculated. And no one wants to be surprised at the end of their working careers about how much they're going to end up with. So It's really good to have those conversations early, like Clara said, and work out for yourself what you're going to need, because it is a sobering thought. And one of the ways that people can obviously look out for themselves a bit is through the credit union, or a cousin organization, if you will. Just a quick plug, I know they're having their annual general meeting coming up in a few weeks. They've started to send out information. So again, just encouraging all civil servants, particularly the Civil Service Association members, take a look at the credit union offerings as a way of banking money in there as a shares account there. It's something to consider. Again, a little bit away at a time is going to add up over the decades of a good civil service career.
That's great. Clara, anything to add on that one?
No, that was perfect.
You nailed it, John. You nailed it. It is great. Now, are we going to see the CICSA organize more of these pensions, lunch and learns for whether it's new members coming in or those who just want to continue to get a refresher on pensions?
Pensions or on other things, yeah, it's something we will try to continue doing. As hopefully everybody saw, the civil service itself just put on a week of just had a bunch of events over the last couple of weeks, and Leadership Week, and the Wellness Committee and the Civil Service is regularly doing these lunch and learns. So it is something we'd like to work at, is to work with them to sponsor more of these on issues that affect our members, that our members have questions about. Sure. We've actually got a couple of follow-up things from people who were at that pensions lunch and learn saying, hey, the next one we got to ask about is this. So yes, I do hope that we will see more of these in the future, just depending on timing of when we get to see them. We've got a couple of things coming up, either not specific to this, but other events, in planning or in intention to plan. So I'm sure that people will be seeing a lot more from us, or continue to see more from us this year, even if it's not sort of in your face big meetings necessarily.
Sure. But that's great to have those questions from members saying, at the next one we have to do this. Mm-hmm. It just shows that engagement, right? And that's a snowball effect we want. That's the more members start coming out, that's the more questions you're going to get. And
absolutely. I mean, and that's one thing we try to reiterate all the time. The Civil Service Association is a membership organization. We're just here to act as the representatives, as the mouthpiece of our members. They have questions, we'll ask them. They have concerns, we'll express them. They want information, we'll try and go out and find it and get the people who know to come back and tell them. So we tell us what you want to hear about, please. We will organize these days the Zoom events to broadcast the information.
Absolutely. And then as far as former civil servants, were they able to attend the pensions lunch and learn as well?
Yes. So that one was actually rebroadcast on a Facebook page. And so anything like that we would just try to organize. And obviously the association is open to former civil servants who want to maintain their membership in the association. It's at a much reduced rate because we do still have the ability to represent for them, advocate for them. When there are issues like around pensions, we can help them provide that voice.
Sure.
Also, a bit greedily, we don't want to lose touch with them and with their knowledge and skills and abilities. A lot of these questions or issues are very long-standing issues, and so it's really good to hear from past Civil Service Association members that who have stayed on after retirement about how things was, what not just what they had to deal with, but how they dealt with it. The pensions is a really, really good example. This came out of the then leadership of the Civil Service Association advocating and saying, listen, this is going back decades, now. Actually, before.
Please.
Yeah, but I would have still been in high school actually when they were talking about this.
Wow,
so how far it goes back. I just saw it today, reminded me of it, and saying we're looking at this, we're seeing this problem starting to emerge amongst our members. How can we, as a group, as a civil service, address it? And so, hopefully, one of them will call in and correct me if I get it wrong. It was they were talking at the time, of a cost of living adjustments and stuff that needed to be made, and said, well, instead of doing it all as putting it into the sort of cash in hand, we'd like to put some of this towards the pension, and that's how the first civil service pension got started. I think it was about a 4% increase that people didn't take. They deferred it and said, no, we recognize that this is better for our long-term good, the long-term good of the country, to start putting this into a pension plan. And I mean, you remember that at the time, all those civil servants, and for many years afterwards, would have been on the defined benefits plan, what we now call defined benefits. So their pensions, our pensions, are guaranteed by the government as a national cost, as it were, just because that was the way that things worked back in the day. Other big companies had the same thing. You worked for the company your life, you retired with the here's your watch, and the pension takes care of you for life because you work for the company for life. Obviously, the times have changed, and now civil services and others are on a defined contribution plan, and that works better for a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of workers these days who like to move between, the ability to move between jobs. It gives them more flexibility. You're not tied to the one employer anymore.
Sure.
But again, going back to those old civil servants, we're seeing a problem. We'll actually defer cash in hand to make sure the civil service is building up this pension plan that we can draw down from in our old age. It was very, very foresightful on their part, and hopefully the association can continue identifying through our members, saying, listen, here's what we're seeing, identify these big long-term issues, and how do we address them as a group.
Thank you for that. We have to go to a commercial break here, but just very quickly, the Civil Service Association is quite a sizable group. It's, if I'm not mistaken, probably the largest association on island, over 2,000 members.
Yeah, so we're easily about half of the all civil servants are members. We've never compared ourselves to any other group, but we are a very large group, and we're one of the very few groups who's focused just on the welfare of our members. We are there to represent our members in their workers' issues, if you will, their workers' disputes, making their working lives and conditions better, advocating for that, amongst a few other things. So that's probably something we can talk about after the break, if you'd like. I'm sure Clara would like to talk about how do we work for our members when they have issues.
That's exactly what I want to talk about next. On that note, let's go to our commercial break. Back with more Talk Today right after this.
Digital is not a buzzword. It is a culture. At Digicel, we've made it our mission to enrich your digital lives. That's why we're bringing together more of all the experiences you love. The latest shows, the best of local and international music and radio, live sports, cloud storage, breaking news, HD video chats, and more. Welcome to Digital at Digicel, the Caribbean's fastest mobile network. Digicel, better together.
You know you've dreamed of that Mercedes. The smooth leather, the style. Ooh la la! With the Lions Club of Grand Cayman Benzarama. Now is your chance to make that dream come through. Get your ticket for the Benzarama fundraiser at Lorna's Gas Station in Bodden Town, West Bay Esso, Funky Tangs, Reflections, and South Coast Bar and Grill. As well at Event Pro. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman Benzarama fundraiser supports site screening, Christmas deliveries, restoration, and social services.
The Benzarama drawing will take place December 5th. All Benzarama tickets bought earlier this year are still valid.
Have you heard the good news? Health for Today can now help you treat these symptoms with natural supplements. High cholesterol, hypertension, diabetes, allergies, arthritis and joint pains, menopause, lupus, weight loss, acid reflux, prostate support, ADD, ADHD, bipolar, and depression. Do you suffer from lack of energy or just want to build up your immune system? Health for Today. Call us at 928-1503. Once again, 928-1503. We are here to serve.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And in case you're just tuning in, we are joined in studio by Cayman Islands Civil Service Association President, Mr. John Bothwell, and by phone, Vice President, Ms. Clara Smith. Clara, are you still with us? You are. Great. We want to turn the conversation to how the association works for the Cayman Islands Civil Service members. Can you walk us through for our listeners what the association does?
Yes. We have several different levels of intervention that we do for civil servants and specifically members. The very top level is, of course, we attend strategic planning meetings. We attend targeted meetings with government senior managers that are more general. They aren't necessarily about a specific grievance or an individual problem, but rather like John said, a group issues affecting all civil servants. So we attend those meetings, and we give the viewpoints and positions of our members, and we try to represent them the best that we can. We do have a cross-section on Management Council, and I think all of our Management Council members are very talkative with the rest of the civil service. So we are getting, and members, and we're getting we have a pretty good understanding of what's going on, the concerns happening with the civil servants. I was thinking before as to what I was going to say when I got my turn, and I was thinking about the old saying, happy wife, happy life, which is for, men. They're about to get married, and they ask, well, what should I be doing? And they say, well, happy wife, happy life, and do whatever your wife says. But ultimately, as a country, I think that we have to start thinking more on the lines of how do we keep our civil service happy? And happy civil service is a happy country. We are the backbone of the country, and we keep it running. But oftentimes, when things go wrong, we essentially are the ones blamed or punished, and there's a lot of public discourse and discontent with reference to, quote unquote, giving the civil service anything. But ultimately, just like any other organization, happy employees are most productive. And really, from the individual standpoint as well, we will meet with individual civil servants. And first and foremost, and the first thing we do is check on them and see how, what it is we can do to help them. And we listen. And I think a lot of times just those things are so important to individuals. Sometimes we're just helping them and guiding them through processes that, their organization being busy, and obviously most civil service organizations have many, many employees. So sometimes the personal touch can be lost. So sometimes it literally is SIXA giving a personal touch to the employee who just doesn't feel, almost to say loved. They just don't feel loved by the organization. And it's just us, lending a shoulder, lending an ear, and really making them feel like somebody cares. Because, of course, we care. They're our members. They make us up for sure. So, we have to care about them. And then the range, full spectrum of, minor complaints about, little workplace things, like maybe employees aren't getting along, people not seeing eye-to-eye kind of thing, and to very large issues, health and safety. Let's see, what are the other really big issues? Cynical, proper, basically that the benefits that they were promised, that they're getting them, and that they're treated fairly. And we just, again, do whatever the member really wants us to do, within reason, of course, and within the law.
And that fair treatment one is an important one. One quick clarification. It's no longer happy wife, happy life. It's now happy spouse, happy house.
Oh,
just to make sure we're clear.
I learn something new every day.
Every day. But I think every one of our listeners would actually agree. The happy employee mentality is such an important one. And it lends to the reason and the benefits to having an association like the Civil Service Association for that. Now with 2021 coming up, what does that mean for the Management Council, for the Civil Service Association?
So from 2021, we're going to be having our annual general meeting sometime in the first part of the year to look for the new Management Council. So this is a good chance for any of our members who are listening to start thinking about who would they like to have on the Civil Service Association Management Council. We need people who are going to work. That's a dime a dozen in the civil service. They're easy to find them. You know who you're already working with, who you work well, and who has that sort of good head on their shoulders, who will speak up, for you, who comes with the bright ideas in the meetings and is willing to get behind them. Please put that person forward for Management Council. As Clara said, we look for a wide cross section of people from lots of different agencies, uniform groups, education, teachers. We love to have teachers and everybody on board like that.
Sure.
Because anybody from any of the entities who are feeling a little bit outside central government, we want you to come into the Civil Service Association, please, because we don't want to lose track of any of our groups of members. And we do recognize that certain segments sort of share similar problems that some of the other segments mightn't be seeing. So again, you want people to represent you, please put them forward. So start thinking about who would be the right people to have a Management Council. In sort of January, February, you'll start seeing the emails coming from us talking about, the meeting is coming up, or when the meeting will be. We're looking for nominations well in advance of that to make sure we can put forward a strong board of nominees for members to choose from and say, yeah, this is who we can work with. So please keep an eye out who you want to talk for you, and also at any time what you want to talk about. The association is always here. Just drop us an email, cicsa@gov.ky, or go on our Facebook page, CICSA Facebook, where, again, because of COVID and everything, we're trying to build up that electronic communication with members a bit more. So the CICSA Facebook page is one of the best ways to go on there. You'll actually really do go on there this week. You'll start seeing some postings coming out soon about a special members-only event that we have coming up later this year. We'll be emailing everybody directly as well. So if you see an email come into your email box from somebody you almost never hear from, another civil servant, click it open. It'll say CICSA on it to find out what we're talking about, because this one is a members-only event. We think it's going to have a really big impact on keeping our members happy.
Sure.
That is one of our jobs. We don't just represent you. We try to provide opportunities for our members to get together, have a good time together. It's 2020. I think a lot of people are going to, we're all seeing the need to blow off a bit of steam. We're trying to get it done before Christmas, and things get really crazy.
Sure.
But please keep an eye out for that email from the Civil Service Association to our members. This is a members-only event we've got coming up. We really want to tell you about it, and we hope that you're going to enjoy it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Clara, any final points before we wrap up this segment?
I just wanted to add that Management Council is an excellent opportunity. It's an excellent opportunity to interact with the full cross-section of the civil service, to understand how all of the entities, how they function, and the connection to the employees is an excellent opportunity for any up-and-coming chief officers and people wanting to hold leadership roles in government. This is leadership opportunity. In addition to our leadership opportunities, we're also going to have opportunities, for example, on the grievance committees, on our various committees. They may not sit on Management Council per se, but they'll assist, and that's also a good way, a good fledgling way if you want to feel how Management Council feels. Maybe you want to join a committee first. And ultimately, we're looking for the right people who can do the work and want to do the work. And we would love to have a massive slot of people nominated and showing interest. The work that we do is very important, and really we can't get enough members and volunteers for Management Council. So we'd love to have more people.
Yeah. We're asking for people to think about it early this year, because 2021, if there's ever something you said, you know what people should be doing, 2021 is now your year. Come out to the Civil Service Association and let's do it.
That's great. We are out of time on this segment. Clara, thank you so much for joining us by phone. We do appreciate it. President John, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. On that note, we're going to go to our 1:30 commercial break. When we come back, we'll be sitting down with the team from Rotary in regards to music extravaganza. Back with more talk today right after this.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Did you know that since May, in support of the COVID-19 Emergency Withdrawal Program, the Chamber Pension Plan leveraged IT and human resources to successfully review over 16,900 member applications, approve over 12,579 applications, and will pay over CI $143 million to our plan members. We are the Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, and we're here for you. For further information regarding the Chamber Pension Plan, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630.
Rotary Central Music Extravaganza tickets. They're flying out the window. Get your tickets now from Rotary Central members, Rotary ticket sellers, online at eventpro.ky. Funky Tangs, A.L. Thompson's Home Depot, The Bar at Mango Tree Restaurant, Sievert's Bar on Eastern Avenue, or on Cayman Brac from the Rotary Club of Cayman Brac and Tishara Lewis, or from Barcam on the Run in Red Bay and gas stations island-wide. Get ready to be a winner with your chance to win $40,000 or a second prize of $4,000. And there are 6 $1,000 prizes and more. Do you have your golden ticket for the golden chance? Rotary Central and the Music Extravaganza 2020, supporting over 70 Rotary community projects. Rotary Central, not-for-profit number 232. Your ticket for your chance and your contribution to a better community through Rotary. Remember, Rotary. It opens opportunities.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and we do have a jam-packed lineup today. Now in the studio, we have a team from Rotary in regards to the Rotary Music Extravaganza, including President Jonay Moss, past President Larry Tibbetts, and past President Peter Schmidt. Welcome to Talk Today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So we're here to talk about Rotary Extravaganza, and I'm sure all the listeners have heard the commercials that have been running on the air in regards to the Extravaganza, which is coming up very shortly. When is the raffle?
It's actually this Saturday, the 28th of November. Yes, we'll be at Salty's in Grand Harbor, but you don't have to be there to win, so we would appreciate your support in buying a ticket. It's this Saturday to win 40,000 CI dollars.
So the question is, what are we going to do when we win the $40,000, right? Like, what is that?
Well, you have a board of experienced money spenders here. So if anybody needs help, they can come and ask us.
Experienced money spenders. I love the way that was put out there. So talk to us a bit about the Rotary extravaganza. As far as this is a fundraiser event for Rotary.
Central.
For Rotary Central.
Yeah, there are 3 Rotary clubs in Grand Cayman.
That's right.
You know, and we each have, whilst we're all part of Rotary International, but locally we each do our own thing. And so this is Rotary Central's fundraiser for the year. It's our biggest fundraiser, and each club has their own. You know, at different times we try to, harmonize with the other clubs, including other service clubs as well. Sure. Because, it is, we have to raise money to do the projects we undertake in the community. You know, and so thankfully the Cayman community in general is very generous. They support these community service clubs, and we appreciate it because it lets us do a lot of things. It lets us do a lot of things at much lower cost than you could if you had to hire commercial people. You know, sure. It's like I liken it to taking your car to a garage, and all you do is you pay for the parts with the money we raise, the labor we supply free of cost, essentially.
No, absolutely.
You know, so that's significant.
It's a huge amount. It's a lot of human capital that goes into the work that you do.
Sure. Absolutely. Correct.
And as far as the initiatives that the fundraiser is going to support, because you guys do a lot, you guys and girls, sorry, I mean to say guys. Everyone here does a lot. What are some of the activities and projects that Rotary is involved in, to remind our listeners?
Well, I think we'll let the president...
You're a president. You've been thrown under the bus. It's all you now.
No. I actually welcome the opportunity to talk about what we do for the community. As you know, on a yearly basis, I think there was a year or two that we did not do the annual health screening, the island-wide health screening. That has been an amazing project for us. We have saved many lives. Many persons have been rushed directly to the emergency room from those health screenings. And so,
really?
Yes, they have been. We have saved lives. And so that's one of the major projects we do. Also, as you know, if you use the public transportation system, the Cayman sun can be really hot. Sure. Cayman's weather is very fickle. It rains sometimes, it doesn't rain sometimes. And so those bus shelters that you see around the island are what we provide to the community as well. We have the annual Dr. Bill H. Rudy Science Fair that actually past President Larry will be in charge of the upcoming one. We have... That's a big one. That's a big one. And we give out, kids get a chance to really showcase their talent, and we give them prizes. And so there's a significant contribution that we give during the science fair. We also have story times for children. We try to do it about 4 or 5 times a year at the various libraries. Children get reading, they get music, they get snacks, they get goodie bags. We do campaigns for traffic, ensuring that people are safe on the road. We've had many campaigns. We've had the Not Your Spot. We've had which is a campaign to alert people about parking in handicap spots. We've had the Share the Road program, allowing people to understand the importance of staying safe and driving at inappropriate speed on the road. We have done scholarships for the various colleges here, UCCI. In fact, that award ceremony was just a few weeks ago. Actually, on Halloween, it was on the 31st of October. Okay. We awarded some of the top students there with some scholarship money. We have the Centennial Park that's right next to the Georgetown Library. We do many parks and recreation. We support the Crisis Center. We have a Christmas party for certain underprivileged children that's coming up. We do many projects.
Yeah, we also have programs where we entertain handicapped citizens, and we also do grants. Some grants such as to the Pines. And we do some significant monetary grants to other programs that again deal with handicapped children, and also we help with rehabilitation efforts for people that were on the wrong side of the law and have served their time and then come back out, and we help them with the transition back into a normal life. So all that, there is one caveat which we didn't mention. It's a negative, I know, but it's not too bad. The bus shelters are not heated. So in the winter, it might be an issue. But then, no, the point being, the money that we collect from the community goes back to the community.
Yes.
Okay. So it is. We're not using the money that we raise from the community to entertain ourselves.
No.
All that is called club money, and it's raised from the members of the club. Right. And it's one of the fundamental things of Rotary that the two should not meet. They are separated. Yep. Or if anybody donates funds to the organization for the club, then it is designated as such. But all the money collected from the community goes back to the community. Because it is important in these days where sometimes it's difficult to find organizations whom you can trust. There are all kinds of scams going on out there, and people, when they part with their hard-earned money, they must have the confidence that it's going to be used for what it was supposedly be used for. And in Rotary, and I'm not saying you cannot trust other service organizations, but you certainly can trust Rotary, because even the funds that we do on an international level have some of the lowest overhead cost of any. So the people of the Cayman Islands and others can have confidence that the money we collect from them will actually go where we say it's going. The other question that often comes up is that some people say, it's only foreigners can win this $40,000 prize, or only locals can win these prizes on these fundraisers, and that's absolutely not true. We have 25-year history of awarding the prize to that person that has actually won. There's nothing predetermined. It's completely transparent, as is the drum from which you draw the ticket. When we actually bring it out on the stage and all these stubs are in there, everyone can see it, and so it is important that we get that message out. Some people will spread rumors for bad mind and things like that, and we want to make sure that people understand it is what we say it is.
Nope, absolutely. And just to add to what Past President Peter just said, the one thing that those who purchase tickets can rest assured is that every ticket is accounted for and placed in that drum on the night of the event. There's no tickets that were sold that ever gets left behind. We will work right up to the draw, the time of the draw, to ensure that we have every ticket in that barrel before we roll it. That's so fantastic. Everybody that purchases a ticket has equal opportunities to win.
Right, and to add something onto that, and yes, that's exactly what we want. We want everyone to have an opportunity to win, and that is why we draw the grand prize first, so that every ticket that is in that drum, every person that buys has the opportunity to win $40,000.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah. Last thing I do is buy the ticket.
But let's take it a step further. Naturally,
very quickly though.
Naturally, not everyone is going to win a prize.
That's very unfortunate.
But here is that's why we listed the things we do with the money, because it may manifest itself in your house not getting broken into because the person didn't have to lose hope.
Absolutely.
And we were able to help them in another way.
Excellent.
So even if you don't get a cash prize, there's it's benefiting the community.
Great. We do have a very short segment here, so if you could very quickly walk our listeners through where can they get their tickets before Saturday.
Sure. So tickets are being sold online at eventpro.ky. That's eventpro.ky. As soon as you pull the site up, you can see our logo and the tickets. Also, we have tickets across the island. We have tickets at A.L. Thompson. We have tickets at Funky Tangs. We have tickets at Mango Tree. You can find tickets now at GT Automotive. You could buy tickets anywhere. You can go into some of the Foster supermarkets. We have ticket sailors, or you can contact Rotarians themselves. I think there are some at Blue Marlin. There's some at Seabird Bar as well. If you're not sure where you can find a ticket, you can also visit our Facebook or Instagram pages, or go to our website and contact us, and you can find a ticket. They're all over the island right now.
And the drawing will be on Saturday, the 28th
of November. Yes.
So this is a few days away at Salty's.
At Salty's. But like we said, you don't have to be there to win. We just really would appreciate your support in getting a ticket.
That's great. Any final comments very quickly?
Yes, just to add to what President Janae just said, it's not just the grand prize, but then there are several other prizes. The second prize is $4,000, and then we have six prizes of $1,000. And the great thing about it is our sellers also, once they sell a book, right, they get 10% as well.
That's fantastic. Yes. A lot of money up for grabs, and obviously the grand prize of $40,000.
Yes.
So again, to all our listeners, do get out there and get your Rotary Music Extravaganza tickets.
Yes.
Drawing is on Saturday.
Yes.
Thank you so much all for coming in. We do appreciate it.
Thanks
on that note,
having
we're going
us.
to go to our 1:45 p.m. break, and we come back. We have one caller on the line. Back with more Talk Today right after this.
Introducing the new Digicel Prime bundles, better than anything we've offered before, with more data than ever, more music on the music, more live sports on Sportsmax, more movies on Playgo, more video chats on BIP. With the new Digicel Prime bundles, it's never been easier to get more digital experiences, plus extra data. Get 50 gigabytes with a 7-day bundle. So much data, so much fun. Buy in My Digicel app today, the Caribbean's fastest mobile network. Digicel, better together.
Black Friday sales are finally here. Get ahead of the New Year's rush with the Black Friday sale at King Sports Center. Annual squash memberships as low as $300. And unlike others, you never pay any additional court or registration fees. Why spend 40% more with other gyms? 1-year Powerhouse Gym memberships are only $385. For more information, call 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit kingsportscenter.com. Black Friday sale at King Sports Center. One day only, Friday, November 27th. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And we do have a full lineup today. And now in studio, we do have Miss Jennifer West from Meals on Wheels in regards to the turkey trot. We do have one caller on the line. We'll take our caller first. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Have your Rotary guests already gone?
Our Rotary guests have already left. We had a very short 15-minute segment with them.
Well, I had a question I wanted to pose to them. You know, in all of the promotion that I've heard on this function, it seems that it's going to be a multi-gathering function.
A multi-gathering function? I'm not quite sure what you...
Well, in other words, they're going to have a lot of people there.
Yep, I imagine they're going to have a number of individuals there. I believe it's an outdoor event at Salty's, from what I understood.
Well, it's going to be outdoor.
It might be indoor. It's the establishment of Salty's, so I do know they have an outdoor and indoor section to their event.
Yeah, well, you know, I was just curious to know what consideration have they given to the environment that we're presently in with these big gatherings, which is a
I believe everyone's following protocols, including restaurants and establishments. But it's a great concern, I'm sure, with the 500-person capacity that's being allowed on big events right now. They're within that range. But I wouldn't know the answer to that question. I could suggest that you direct that question to their Facebook page, and they might be able to provide you with some more clarity on that.
Well, I was looking for it in the segment I just finished. But anyway,
well, they are listening now.
I think there should be some consideration to that, because one person roaming around there in a big crowd with the contamination, and
No, it's a fair consideration. Everyone wants to know that.
The bubble is busted.
That's true. I think everyone's currently operating within the whatever procedures are being put in place for COVID required activities. I'm not sure what else I can offer on that, but your concern has definitely been noted, and I'll be sure to pass that along to the Rotarians as well. Thank you so much, caller. I appreciate that. All right, Ms. Jennifer, very valid concern by the caller on how to handle big events, because we're here to talk about your big event.
We sure are.
Talk to us, Turkey Trot. What's going on?
Okay, so this is the 5th annual Meals on Wheels Turkey Trot.
Yeah.
So this year, obviously, as the caller that we just heard, there are some concerns. However, Turkey Trot is outdoors, but we are probably not going to go over 500 people, which is our gathering limitations right now. But Meals on Wheels does a number of events each year to raise much needed funds. However, this is kind of our first official event that we've been able to host this year, because our other fundraisers have had to been canceled or amended. So we are very excited to be able to host Turkey Trot for the 5th year in a row. Our location has changed. So thanks to a great partnership with Grand Ole House, they are allowing us to host from their location. And then we're going to use a very similar track to the marathon. So for those people who are getting ready for the big marathon, this is a great, way to feel out that course. We are going in the opposite direction just to give it a bit of a change.
So you're going towards town.
We're going towards town and then back down Walker's Road. So we do have a 5K and a 10K route. For those of you who don't like loops, the 10K route is not the 5K twice. It is a very different route.
Really? Where are you going for the 10K?
So for the 10K, instead of turning right to come back around through South Church Street, you turn up and go to the rugby pitch. And then you come back down South Church Street.
That's the exact same route as the Breeze Fusion route.
Except we're not starting at
not.
the...
No, I'm just kidding. You're not starting at Swiss Cove.
We're not. We're starting a little bit up the street.
Yeah, a little bit up the way. It's all good. And Breeze is not happening this year. So I'm glad the Turkey Trot is taking a good position in the 5K, 10K community
We
this
are
year.
happy to take over the Breeze route.
Oh, I'm not sure about that. You're going to start in a fight on the way out the door by some people.
Just for this year. Just for
this year. No, but it's a great event. We had you in last time in the studio, and Meals on Wheels is one of those groups that, not that every charity is not beneficial in some capacity, but Meals on Wheels is one of those that you feel it right off the bat. Like, it's one of you don't really think about what you're actually doing when you support Meals on Wheels. Some charities you kind of got to question and go, where is my money going again?
Right.
You don't have to question that right off the bat with Meals. You know right away it's going to feed senior citizens.
That is correct.
You know it right off the bat.
That is correct. And right now we are feeding 315 seniors per day.
That's a lot.
So we've been up and down with numbers a lot this year. We started the year at 220. We went up to 525 at the max during lockdown.
Wow.
And we are now kind of settled at 315. So we dropped and now we're growing again.
Wow.
So the need to raise funds is definitely important to Meals on Wheels. We don't want to ever turn anybody away because we don't have the funds to provide them a free meal. Yeah. So our fundraisers go towards providing a free meal to those recipients. For many of our recipients, it's because they are not financially able to. Some, it's because of health, that they are not physically able to provide themselves a meal. And for a lot of our seniors as well, it is the only kind of social interaction that they have during the day. Some live alone, some live with family, but of course, families are off at work or at school, so they are alone during the day. So it's a great opportunity for our amazing team of volunteers to also check in with them as they drop off that meal. So this Turkey Trot, in its 5th year, there are over 1,000 Turkey Trots across the United States, but this is Cayman's 5th annual Turkey Trot, and it's open to everyone. For the serious runner, to families, to friends that just want to get active, it is right after Thanksgiving. So if you had an extra serving too much, this is a great way to trot it off.
Fair enough. And the entry fee to get into this year's event?
Okay, so we have the 5K and the 10K timed race. That is $25.
Okay.
Adults are $25. Juniors 11 to 17 are $15. And children 4 to 10 are $10. Younger than that, if they're in strollers or wagons, there's no charge. You can add them to the registration page. And we do have some treats and goodies for the little ones as well. So we're hoping to raise enough funds to provide meals for at least 1 month, which is quite a feat. That's over $31,000 is what it costs us to provide meals at this point for our seniors each month.
So right now, you're looking at an annual cost budget of about $360,000 a year.
Yes, sir. Your math is much better than mine.
Roughly. I mean, it's a lot. I mean,
Yes.
Think about what it costs to
Yes.
feed 300 people a month, and we're talking
Yes.
close to $400,000.
Right. And right now we are still going at, it costs $5 a day to feed a senior. However, we know that our dollars are not stretching quite as much right now as they did before because there is an increase in costs. So we are doing our very best to maintain our costs as low as possible, and we can only do that thanks to the community as well, through donations in kind from wholesale providers, from farmers that help us subsidize those expenses as well.
No, absolutely. All right, so then for race time, where can people register for the race?
Okay, people can register online at racecaribbean.net, and you look up Turkey Trot. You can also visit our website, mealsonwheels.ky, and you can click the link to register there. And packet pickup this year will actually be taking place at the Westin on Wednesday and Thursday from 2 to 7. And if you haven't registered, you can drop by as well to register there while we're on location.
So the day of?
No, Wednesday and Thursday.
Oh, sorry.
Wednesday and Thursday. So this Wednesday and Thursday, the 25th and the 26th.
Is packet pickup.
At the Westin. At the Galleon Ballroom.
And then as far as the registration on day of, is there no registration on the day of the event? Just to make sure our listeners are completely clear.
I think because it's 2020, if there are some people who want to register on the day of the race, we will let them.
They're going to get a stern look, and then you're going to sign them up for not having signed up
Correct.
for their... Exactly.
Correct.
Now, to answer our last caller's query in regards to COVID restriction, COVID policies, right now we know the marathon is being staggered this year to allow for capacity. Now, hopefully, we see more than 500 people at your event on Saturday. That would be the gold mine winning option.
If
that does happen, just because at the end of the day, this is a charity event in a year where charity is quite important. So we might very well have more than 500 people at that event. What are you putting in place for COVID policies? Just to address the last caller's query, because he did make a very good point in regards to just the numbers in COVID and how we're actually managing our events.
Okay. So again, we have, thanks to Grand Ole House, we have a large outdoor space available to us in their parking lots, but there's both sides of the street.
Sure.
But we would also be staggering start times if we are at that large of a capacity. We've got hand washing stations and hand sanitizers available. And of course, we would ask people that are not within their own group to maintain distance. Of course, the start line is a bit tricky, but again, we are outdoors, and we hope that, our little bubble is not too much interrupted.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we would want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable and they're able to have a great time at Turkey Trot, because it is a fun event. Yep. We're also encouraging people to dress up in their best Turkey Trot gear, and we do have a prize for the best dressed trotter.
For our listeners that may not be fully aware, what does Turkey Trot gear look like?
You can dress in orange, which is our color, of course.
Sure.
And there's headgear that looks like turkeys. There are tutus that look like turkeys. There are socks that are looking like turkeys. We've got aprons. We've had kind of the whole shebang. And our board chairman, Robin Parada, for those of you who have been a part of Turkey Trot before, have seen him in a full dressed turkey suit.
That was my next question, but okay, you took care of that one. Has anybody ever come in a full dressed turkey suit and you took care of that? Or the chairman did.
He sure has.
He made the landmark claim, I will be the first turkey out there.
He sure is.
I love it. And as far as, you've covered all my questions in all fairness. You've actually got a great little event here lined up for the 28th. Together, right? Yes, Saturday the 28th at Grand Ole House. So start time again for our listeners is what time?
We will be doing check-in at 6 a.m. and we plan to start at 6:30 for the first send-off.
6:30. And for all of our listeners at home, this is a fantastic charity event. You can register at racecaribbean.net, or the meals, or you can register on the website at Meals on Wheels. So you can go to mealsonwheels.ky, and if you have any questions whatsoever, email info@mealsonwheels.ky.
Excellent.
Did I nail it all?
You nailed it all.
You did. Jennifer, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it, and all the best with the turkey trot.
Thank you very much.
We're going to go to our 2 p.m. headline news. When we come back, we'll be discussing the singing Christmas tree for 2020. Back with more talk today right after this.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man.
It's only 2 species that we have here on planet.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm April Cummings. Government gazettes the Private Funding of Legal Services Bill 2020. The bill seeks to regulate contingency fee agreements and litigation funding agreements, which provide an alternative way of funding legal services, especially litigation in injury cases and medical malpractice. It is proposed under the bill that the Grand Court would be able to review such agreements upon application by an attorney at law and a client. You can find out more at legislation.gov.ky. In international news, Chinese authorities are testing millions of people, imposing lockdowns and shutting down schools after multiple locally transmitted coronavirus cases were discovered in 3 cities across the country last week. As temperatures drop, wide-scale measures are being enacted in Tianjin, Shanghai, and Missouri, even though the number of new cases remains low compared to the U.S. and other countries that are seeing new waves of infections. Experts and government officials have warned that the chance of the virus spreading will be greater in cold weather. Recent flare-ups have shown there is still a risk of the virus returning, despite being largely controlled within China. U.S. stocks edged higher in morning trading today after investors received several pieces of encouraging news about COVID-19 vaccines and treatments, tempering concerns over rising virus cases and business restrictions. The benchmark S&P 500 rose 0.1%, led by banks, industrial companies, and other businesses that have been beaten down by the virus. Tech stocks, which hold an outsized weight on the index, fell and diminished earlier gains. Those are your headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom. I'm April Cummings. For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio K-Man on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio K-Man app or log on to our website, radiokman.gov.ky.
your voice, your choice, your radio.
The Paramount Carpet pre-Christmas blowout sale is back. Monday, November 23rd through Saturday, November 28th. Save big with assorted remnant tiles, $250 square foot, $100 a pallet. Assorted remnant granite slabs, $300 each. Ceramic tiles as low as 75 cents a square foot. Porcelain tiles as low as 99 cents a square foot. Area rugs, 35% off. Carpets, 25% off. And all other in-house tiles, 20% off. Cash and carry. Visit the Big Blowout Sale at Paramount Carpet, November 23rd to November 28th, located on 317 North Sound Road, Industrial Park. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 till 5, and Saturday, 7:30 till 2. Call 949-5000.
We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount Carpet.
If you enjoyed The Honeymoon Over, you're going to love the sequel, Fat Chats. Once again, the Harco Theater will be coming live and direct into your homes and vehicles. As the Cayman National Cultural Foundation, CNCF performs Fat Chats on Radio Cayman. You can join us right here on Radio Cayman every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Starting November 18th until December 23rd. We will have a repeat of each week's episode airing every Saturday at 6:45 p.m. beginning on November 21st and ending on December 26th. Don't miss it.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio K-Man's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And as you mentioned, we have a very, very jam-packed lineup today. And now very pleased to have in studio Pastor Bob and Pastor Haylock here to discuss the singing Christmas tree. Welcome to Talk Today, gentlemen.
And the day of prayer as well.
And the day of prayer as well, which we'll get to in just a few moments. Absolutely correct. Well, welcome to Talk Today. And so talk to us, singing Christmas tree,
Yes.
annual tradition and fun part of our holiday season here in Cayman?
Yeah, that's correct. For this year, we will not be able to have it live as we've had it in the past. As a matter of fact, this year would have been the 10th annual presentation. The first 7 years, we had it on the church grounds on Old Crew Road, and the last 2 years, we had it at the Lions Center. But because of the COVID restrictions, we've not been able to do fundraising, and then the size of the gathering, it way exceed that, and then the participation of the sponsors and everything. So the climate is just not right for the Singing Christmas Tree Live this year. And so what we have done, we have extracted excerpts from previous years, where we have the best of the last 9 years, and then we have a couple specials that we are doing that we didn't have before. So that's going to be this coming Sunday evening at 7 o'clock.
All right. So, and how do we get to watch this new presentation then?
Yeah, it's going to be on the government station, CIG TV.
Okay.
It's going to be on Radio Cayman. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on YouTube. So people just have to type in Cayman Singing Christmas Tree or Facebook or YouTube.
All right, so how, and this is probably going to be a little political here now, who had the hard job of going through the past 9 years and picking the top moments? Who had that? Because that's a really hard job to do. Someone had to say no to someone else to say yes to someone else.
Well, the producer. The producer is my wife, Elsa Bob, and she has been the one who really started the whole thing. So what she did, she went through the best of the last, well, I should say the best, but she went through the presentations of the last 9 years.
Yeah.
She pulled out things that are representative of what we have seen over the last 9 years, and we feel that it's going to be a great presentation.
Well, that's great. So then as far as those who would have liked to come in person, we're not going to see this become the norm. Next year, hopefully, we'll see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Next year, we'll be live and direct. Bigger and better than ever.
If I remember correctly, we trust. We hope. Absolutely. We have to stop saying this COVID thing has to go.
Yeah.
Right. We can't keep living within this this bubble.
Yeah.
But if I remember correctly, because I believe you had built the different level of staging to make it all work.
If you look at this here, that gives you an idea. So what we do, we have a stage 32 feet by 60 feet.
That's right.
And it's about 30 inches high, and where we have all the drama, the different props and so on. And then the tree itself is about 30 feet high.
Yeah.
Where the people are actually in the tree. It's architecturally constructed, and we have about 15 churches involved in it. It's an interdenominational presentation.
That's right, because you brought in other churches from other congregations and other jurisdictions last year.
Right? Of course, this is Cayman. It's really a local production, with the exception of the fact that every year we bring in special singers, persons who do special things.
If I remember correctly, last year when I hosted the show, I believe we actually had the person that had built part of the stage on the actual show, if I remember correctly.
Well, he's the person who is responsible for designing singing Christmas trees around the world.
Around the world.
Jeff Smith,
Yes.
So he's not going to be here this year because we're not doing it live this year. But next year.
So now what happens to the tree throughout the rest of the year? Can I ask a very
Yes. Well, we have a 45-foot container.
Okay.
And that 45-foot container houses all of the props, all of the parts. We stagger it away until actually we start constructing about the middle of October.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It takes that long to get it all
Yeah,
up
well, the actual practices and so on start in August.
Sure.
But, of course, my wife starts the planning way the first quarter of the year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you have to contact the artists, you have to make sure the songs are not copyrighted, you have to get clearance and all these things,
It's a lot. Well, I speak for the entire community right now when I say that if the COVID policies lift up, can we see the Singing Christmas Tree maybe show up in February or March for a impromptu?
Probably not.
Darn it.
Because there's so much involved. We have to get in the overseas artists.
Of course.
We need at least about 2 months for rehearsals.
Of course.
Yeah, so it's a lot of planning. And then, of course, we have to raise sponsorships.
Of course.
Sponsorship. And I really want to thank the sponsors, the way they have stood behind us in the past. I mean, they have really been tremendous, yeah.
That's great. Well, if I didn't ask, I wouldn't know the answer to that. So now I know the answer is unfortunately a no. But I had to ask for our community on that one. So then we'll look forward to having the real live production again next year. But for this year, we have the produced copy of 9 years of highlight reel action.
Yes, and then of course we have a couple specials that we have not had before.
Okay, now what are those? I guess we can't give too much.
No, I can't say anything about that.
All right, fair enough.
That's going to be a real surprise.
You'd be in trouble with your wife if you told the listeners anything about that. So we don't want you in trouble with your wife.
No, certainly not.
No.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's this coming Sunday, November 29th at 7 p.m., the 2020 Singing Christmas Tree Special. You can watch it on CIG TV. You can listen to it here on Radio K-Man, or you can also watch it on Facebook and YouTube.
That's correct.
That's great. Now, theoretically, are we going to have some people around the world watching the presentation this year?
Oh, certainly, yes. People from around the world view it. Yeah. I mean, every year. Yeah. That's the case. And in case there are those who would like to be in a live audience, we're having a big screen live audience showing at the First Assembly of God this Sunday evening. We start at 6 o'clock, but the showing actually starts at 7.
Oh, so you can actually watch it at the church
At the church, yes.
This Sunday?
This Sunday.
Okay. So there'll still be, you can if you want to be part of the community and still want to watch it outside of your home, there's still this opportunity.
That's correct, yeah.
That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. All right, but that's not all we're here to talk about today.
No, that's not all. And it's a real pleasure to have Reverend Haylock. Pastor Haylock is the vice chairman of the Cayman Ministers Association, and he's here to promote the National Day of Thanksgiving and Prayer.
Which is an important one. We're going to start talking about it now, but we're going to finish talking about this for the last part of the segment. This is an important one this year, this with 2020. So tell us about the National Day of Prayer.
The National Day of Prayer is something that has been carried out by the Ministers Association for quite a few years right now. But due to the COVID crisis, we're not able to meet like we usually meet at the town hall or glass house premises for this occasion. But I believe it is even of a greater paramount importance for us to focus in on this program this year, because of the fact that God has been so good to us. I mean, we've been good to many times in many years, but with all of the hurricanes so far, thank God we've not had a hurricane. And with the COVID, thank God for the swift movement of government we've been, and the help of Almighty God, we've been spared considerably from this deadly virus. Just last week I was listening to the BBC when they announced that in Europe there's like every 17 seconds a person is dying from COVID in Europe. I mean, I know it's a big place, but that's a lot of deaths per day. So for all of that, we just want to come together, remind Cayman of this meeting still going on. It will be live stream, and the date is November the 30th, Monday, November the 30th at 12 noon, which we usually or customarily would do. We will do the same this year, and to really speak out to the island, we are really encouraging you on behalf of the Ministers Association to join us that day for this time of prayer and thanksgiving. Jesus said, men ought always to pray and not to faint. Then the psalmist says it in Psalm 92 verse 1, it is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord. So we're asking the Cayman public to please join us on Facebook.com, Pray Cayman, or YouTube.com, Pray Cayman. And we'll also be on CIG TV And we're inviting you all to join and make it be a family occasion where everybody would gather together at 12 noon, and it would usually go on for about half an hour to 45 minutes. That's pretty much the span of where the plans for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that's Monday, November 30th at 12 noon.
At 12 noon.
At 12 noon. We have a lot more questions for you on this element, because you know what, there's this year 2020 has thrown, you brought up hurricanes, you brought up the COVID pandemic, and at the end of the day there's so much to be grateful for when it's all said and done. And that's when we talk about Thanksgiving, and with our Cayman Thanksgiving coming up on December 6th, that much more reason for the community to rally behind causes such as the the Singing Christmas Tree, the National Day of Prayer, and Cayman Thanksgiving itself on December 6th. On that note, let's go to our 2:15 commercial break. When we come back, we'll be chatting a little further with Pastor Bob and Pastor Haylock.
Do you remember when 2020 was great?
I don't think it was...
2020 vision, not the year.
Right.
Make 2020 great again with Optical Outlook, the new West Bay store now open. With their designer frames and sunglasses, eye health has never looked so good. Call 746-2020 and book your eye exam today at Caymanian Village and now at Jake Scott Plaza in West Bay, offering premier eye care in Cayman for over 30 years. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook.
Stronger, wider, higher, lighter. The all-new Ford Ranger Raptor. Powerfully built with a 2.0 diesel Panther engine and 210 horsepower. Modern with leather interior and 8-inch touchscreen, Sync 3 technology and power features. Tough, built to handle the off-road with 4-wheel drive, terrain modes, and a 10-speed automatic transmission. Coming early October to Vamped Motors, Walkers Road. To find out more and to test drive the bold new Ford Ranger Raptor, visit Vamped Motors, Walkers Road, or call 949-8288.
We give you honor and praise, adoration and glory.
Radio Cable.
Praise time.
Praise him, praise him. Come and let's praise the Lord. Come and let's praise the Lord. Praise him in the morning and in the evening. Oh, let's praise the Lord.
Praise time in the morning.
Praise him, praise him. Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Radio Cayman, waking you up.
Rock my soul in the blues of my faith. Rock my soul in the blues of my faith.
Praise time.
I know he cares. He'll always be there. Oh, yeah. Praise him, praise him, praise him.
Praise time.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
It's like,
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and we have in studio Pastor Bob here discussing the Singing Christmas Tree, and Pastor Haylock here discussing the National Day of Prayer on Monday, the 30th. So, quick updates again. We have the annual Singing Christmas Tree event will not be taking place in its usual live format this year for its 10th format due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The feature has been turned into a 1-hour electronic production, which viewers can find on CIG TV, listen live here on Radio Cayman, Facebook, and YouTube. And that is on Sunday, November 29th at 7 p.m. Then we have the National Day of Prayer, which will be taking place on Monday, November 30th at 12 noon. And they can find that on either CIG TV or by searching for Pray Cayman on Facebook or YouTube. Did I get all that correct?
Yeah, you're correct.
I got it all correct. My notes were all good then.
Yeah.
But before the break, we were talking about the National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving. This is the time of year when usually the words of fellowship and gratitude and Thanksgiving are always kind of put out there in family unity. But this is also a year where we've come through the COVID situation. Nobody within this generation or the previous generation has ever seen a scenario that took the entire world by storm, other than possibly the Cuban Missile Crisis. That's probably the closest thing I can think of that would ever took the whole world into this full-on panic mode in recent memory, for those who are still around right now. And so when we talk about the National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving this year, it means that much more. I think to many families, to many of the elderly who are so dependent right now. We just had Meals on Wheels that was in studio here just now. We had Rotary who was in the studio just a little while ago, and they're talking about the charity events and why it's so important for their causes right now. With all of that I just said, how important is it for everyone to really adopt this sense of gratitude and thankfulness this year? And Pastor Hirlock, I want to put that on you.
Well, I would.
It's a tough one.
It is like the psalmist say, it's a good thing to give thanks, without any specific reason, even just because of his overwhelming good to his creation. But when it's been so blatant before our eyes as it has been this year, hurricanes have come within almost striking distance, and he stared it away. He have, the pandemic, we're almost like we're in another world, almost, as it were, because he have been so merciful to us that it's just barely showed up a little bit here and there, but we've not had any fatalities of the Cayman people due to this pandemic, and I don't. Maybe I don't think that we really had any fatalities, or if there's been any that I haven't heard of, it would have been very, very limited.
We've had 2 fatalities, but I don't believe any Caymanian that was actually involved in those.
Yes. But so even for that, we would sympathize with the 2 families that lost their loved one. Yes. But overall, I would say all of Cayman should have their heads bowed and their knees bent, just giving God thanks for what he has really done. And I think it just asking a small thing of them to tune in on the 30th of November at 12 noon to listen in to pre-recorded prayers and thanksgiving items, so that we can remember when it was possible for us to tangibly get there and touch one another and see one another and give God thanks. But this is the best we can do this year. So I'm encouraging the people of the Cayman Islands, whichever district they're from, to really take time that day, 30th of November, Monday the 30th of November at 12 noon, to tune in and give thanks and receive the blessings that has been inspired, and that has inspired this program and will inspire others that would tune in and listen. I think it's very important this year.
Thank you, Pastor Hirlock. Pastor Bob, anything you wanted to add on to that?
Yes, I think as a nation, not only have we had good governance, but we have had excellent cooperation from our people, and God has really helped us. Yes. And for this, we have to give him thanks. Giving thanks to God is a very, very important thing. We cannot take God for granted. Exactly. It's amazing how we know where to go when we're in trouble. But when answers come, we forget where the answers came from. Amen. So we really want to encourage our people to join together at the noon hour next week, Monday.
It's an interesting way you put that, right? It's when things are going wrong, we know very quickly how to how to ask. But when things are going right, we tend to become very forgetful, unfortunately. How do you communicate that message to... And I'm not throwing the younger generation under the bus, but I do think we had a comment that was made earlier that we tend to focus on like things like pensions when we're a little older, and we focus on, longevity and the things that are a little more meaningful when we're a little more older or seasoned, or we have more responsibility in kids or whatever it might be. How do you communicate your message right now to the 20-year-old right now who is like any other 20-year-old of every generation that's ever lived in the past, who's more focused on their current life and their current mode of enjoyment? How do you get your message to them?
Well, that is
pray.
That is been a burden, I guess, on the heart of every concerned parent and clergy. Really, we think a lot about the younger generation because, like other generations, we sort of take it for granted that the youthful years belong to us, and that we can just do what we want with those years, and then we start thinking more about God as we get older. But on the contrary, God said we are instructed to remember our Creator now in the days of our youth. It is so much better when we do it as in our youth. I became a Christian at the age of 21. I was one of the national side soccer players, and there was some things I missed out on, maybe to really be faithful in my service to the Lord. But if I had to do it all over, I would serve God I would like to serve God even earlier. If there's any regret in my life of serving God, it is that I took the length of time. I shouldn't have waited till I was 21. 14, 15 years is a kind of dangerous, adventurous time in teenagers, and I believe if we could find him before that, it would even be better.
So what was your turning point at 21?
Well, I was raised in a Christian family and in environment, so I was encouraged to go to church. And then it was this particular brother that I had to cross his house every day, and he would remind me. He kept inviting me to this Church of God convention, and I would tell him I was coming, but I didn't really mean to. But I found myself in Georgetown on the Saturday evening while the convention is on, and I said, just out of curiosity, let me go down there and see how real this thing is. And believe you me, I was impressed, and ever since, I've always enjoyed serving God, and for the rest of my life, I intend to do that.
Thank you. Pastor Bob, I'm going to ask you the same question as far as the younger generation. And how will you connect with them to convey this message of thankfulness, gratitude, and everything you're talking about for the 30th?
Yeah, I think it's important for people to project their lives every now and again. A young person is 20. Look back 10 years. Okay, you could remember 10 years ago. If you could remember 10 years ago, you can fast forward your life about another 10 years or another 20 years. Where are you going to be 20 years from now? What are you going to be doing? Okay, what about 40 years from now? What about 60 years from now? What about 80 years from now? See where I'm coming from? 80 years from now, 90 years from now, few of us will be here. Where are we going to be? It's important that we look at the long term if we are to make the right decisions in the short term. And I think young people need to look at that.
It's a very responsible way of looking at it.
It's true.
Pastor Herlick, any final comments before we sign off today?
Well, I'd just like to reiterate the importance for us as Cayman people, those living on island. We just trust and pray that everyone would see the goodness of God, and that each one would tune in Monday, November the 30th at 12 noon and listen to the pre-recorded or live stream program that would be put together there. And you can see it on Facebook.com or /PrayCayman or YouTube.com/PrayCayman. And it also will be on CIGTV. So I would encourage everybody to tune into that, and that God's blessing might be upon each and every one of us. And I also would like to take this opportunity to say it's been a pleasure to even be here with Pastor Bob. Pastor Bob is the chairman of the Cayman Ministers Association, and we have had a few occasions to work together on certain occasions like this. And Pastor Bob, it's been a pleasure one more time.
Thank you.
Pastor Bob, any final points before we wrap it up?
Yes, I really want to make this point. The Singing Christmas Tree is an excellent presentation. I mean, the drama is Broadway style. The singing is excellent. But it's much more than simply a production. It's an opportunity for people to hear the message of the gospel, the good news. The shepherds were told, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. And that's what it's all about. It's good news that in spite of the life or the lives that we're living, the things that we have done, we can have our sins forgiven. All of us are going to leave this life someday. We must spend eternity somewhere. There are two possible places, no in-between place. And so we are giving people the opportunity to decide, to commit their lives to Christ, and to spend eternity with God.
Amen.
Thank you for your final point, gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming in today. I really do appreciate it. On that note, though, we do need to call it a wrap for today's show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again to all of our loyal listeners out there in Radio Cayman Nation, to Miss Susan Watson, and all of our guests from Cayman Enterprise City, from the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association, from Rotary Central, Meals on Wheels, and of course, Pastor Bob and Pastor Haylock. It has been a pleasure bringing you talk today, and on behalf of the entire Radio Cayman family, thank you for sharing your afternoon with us. I'm Raymond Singh. God bless, and have a fantastic, safe rest of your week.